The galaxy holds its breath as the Predator descends from the vastness of space, its ship cutting through the atmosphere like a blade through soft flesh. The human colony of Orlith stands as the next target in the creature's unrelenting path. Whispers of its savagery have spread across systems like wildfire. Entire civilizations have been wiped from the stars. Its name, a dark legend that only the bravest dare speak. Its shadow now looms over Orlith. The colonists are unprepared for the nightmare that approaches. They've seen conflict before, skirmishes with pirates and rival colonies, but nothing could have prepared them for what was coming. Nothing could have prepared them for the monstrosity of the Predator. Its body is a twisted mass of muscle and armored plates as black as the void itself. Its claws could slice through reinforced steel like it was paper. Its eyes glow with a malevolent intelligence that sends chills down the spine of anyone who dares meet its gaze. It doesn't hunt for food or sport. It hunts because it is an apex predator, a creature born to kill. For Captain Liam Jax, this moment is all too familiar. He's been here before on different worlds in different wars, but this time it feels different. This time, the stakes are beyond his comprehension. He watches from the command tower as the massive figure of the Predator descends from the skies. Its ship, a grotesque silhouette against the orange sunset. The colony below looks peaceful, still untouched by the chaos that is about to erupt. But Jax knows better. He's seen the devastation the Predator leaves in its wake, and he feels the cold sweat form on his brow. Jax is a man who's lost everything. Once a decorated officer in the Federation, he's now a commander of what's left of the colony's defense force. But the Predator isn't something that can be defeated with tactics or technology. Jax has heard the stories of how entire fleets of ships have been torn apart by this creature's strength, how it has torn through the defenses of the most advanced species in the galaxy and emerged unscathed. But as he stands at the window watching the descent of the nightmare, his mind races for some way to survive, some way to fight back. The colony's automated defenses flicker to life, its turrets rising from hidden compartments as the first signs of the Predator's presence manifest on the scanners. But Jax knows it won't be enough. The weapons the humans have at their disposal are nothing compared to what the Predator can endure. Even the mightiest weapons of the Federation have been proven ineffective against it. Jax feels his jaw tighten as he watches the turrets begin to fire, the first barrage of shells echoing through the air. But even as they strike the descending creature's ship, it shows no signs of slowing down, no signs of fear. The Predator lands with a force that cracks the ground beneath it, its massive claws sinking into the earth like daggers. The earth trembles with its impact, and Jax can feel the rumble in his bones. It's here. The creature has arrived, and there is no running, there is no escape. The colony is about to feel the full weight of its terror. The soldiers who stand with Jax gather their weapons, steeling themselves for the inevitable, but deep down they all know this fight might be one they can't win, not against a monster like this. Jax turns to his crew one last time, knowing that the only thing left to do now is face the impossible. They stand at the edge of the battlefield, knowing that in a few moments the world will be changed forever. The survivors gather in the cold shadows of the command center, the walls flickering with lights from emergency systems, their faces grim, their voices low. The fear of the unknown hangs in the air, thick enough to choke on. But Captain Liam Jax stands at the center of the room, his expression unyielding, his resolve hardening with every passing second. He knows the odds are stacked against them. He knows that even with the best technology and the most trained soldiers, they might still be doomed. But he refuses to accept defeat, not yet. A small team of soldiers, engineers, and scientists have gathered to plan their defense, each one a testament to the human spirit of survival in the face of annihilation. Their faces show the strain of the situation, but there's a spark of determination in their eyes. Each one knows what's at stake, but they also know that if they're going to survive, they have to act quickly. Every decision from here on out could be their last. They can't afford hesitation, they can't afford fear. Jax turns to his lead strategist, Lieutenant Ava Price. She's a sharp thinker, quick on her feet, and if anyone can come up with a plan to stop the Predator, it's her. She steps forward, her voice steady despite the tremble in her hands. "We got two options," she says, her eyes scanning the map of the colony spread out across the table in front of them. "We can either fortify the perimeter and try to make a stand, or we go on the offensive." and take the fight to it. Jax listens carefully, weighing the risks in each scenario. Both choices lead them to the same end, an inevitable confrontation with the most dangerous creature in the galaxy. The soldiers stationed around the table exchange glances. Murmurs of doubt pass through the group, but Jax silences them with a single motion. He knows there's no time for second-guessing, there's no time for hesitation. They've fought wars before, and they can fight this one too. He looks back at Lieutenant Price and nods. Let's move forward with the perimeter plan, but we need to get creative. We don't have the firepower to outgun it, but we can outsmart it. Jax's voice is firm. The confidence in his words is a spark that lights a fire in the room. The engineers begin working immediately, repurposing civilian tech to build makeshift defenses, while the soldiers train their focus on setting traps and creating ambush points. The colony's automated turrets begin powering up, but even as they arm themselves for the fight, Jax can't shake the nagging feeling that it won't be enough. They've never faced something like this before. No one has the knowledge to fully comprehend the creature's biology, its weaknesses, or its strengths, and the clock is ticking. Hours pass in a blur. The sky outside grows dark, and the air grows heavier with every passing minute. The Praetor is coming, and they are running out of time. Jax knows they must be ready. The final preparations are being made when a tremor shakes the ground beneath them. The signal they've been dreading. The beast is near. Their defenses are ready, but Jax wonders for a moment if it even matters, if anything can truly stop it. "We have one shot at this," Jax says, his voice steady as he looks around the room. Each of his team members nods in silent agreement. The fight will begin soon. They have no more time to prepare, no more time to wait. They must face the Praetor head-on and hope that their plan can hold just long enough to give them a chance at survival. The ground shakes violently as the first signs of the Praetor's arrival rip through the air. The sky above darkens with the creature's shadow stretching over the colony like a blanket of terror. The sound of its massive feet hitting the ground echoes through the streets. Its roars can be heard in the distance like thunder cracking in the sky. Every living being in Orlith holds its breath, knowing the end is near, but none of them know just how close it really is. Captain Jax stands at the front of the defense line, his mind racing through the countless scenarios they've prepared for, every contingency they've covered. But as the first blast of the Praetor's roar rattles the walls of the colony, he knows nothing has prepared them for this. Not really. They've tried everything from setting traps to deploying automated defenses, but this is different. This is a fight for their lives, and no amount of preparation will change the fact that they are vastly outmatched. Jax motions for his team to move out. The soldiers take their positions, their weapons ready. The engineers quickly adjust the perimeter defenses, while the scientists huddle near their makeshift control center, watching the data from the sensors flood in. But even as they prepare, the air is thick with the feeling of impending doom. The Praetor is unstoppable, a force of nature that cannot be reasoned with, cannot be bargained with. It kills because it was born to kill, and now it's come for them. The first wave of attacks begins before Jax can even give the order. The Praetor charges into view, its massive form emerging from the darkness with terrifying speed and agility. Its claws rip through the fortified gates like they were made of paper, sending chunks of debris flying in every direction. The automated turrets open fire, but their shots are like gnats to a titan. They do nothing to slow the creature down. The soldiers brace themselves for the inevitable as the Praetor steps forward, its eyes burning with the promise of death. Jax doesn't wait. He signals the attack team to move into position. They leap from their cover, launching grenades and firing pulse weapons at the creature's legs, hoping to slow it down. But the Praetor shrugs off their efforts with terrifying ease. Its hide is nearly impenetrable. Every shot bounces off like raindrops on stone. The human fighters swarm around it in a desperate attempt to distract it, but it moves with the precision of a hunter, its massive tail sweeping through the air, knocking soldiers aside like ragdolls. Ava Price and the other strategists are already working on a new plan, their eyes darting to the data readouts. The Praetor's movements are erratic, but there's a pattern to its attacks. If they can just figure out how to exploit it, maybe they'll have a chance. Maybe, just maybe, they can stop the beast before it's too late. Jax watches helplessly as his soldiers fall one by one, the Predator's claws tearing through their armor like paper. He grits his teeth and pushes forward, the fire in his chest growing hotter as he fights to keep his team alive. His mind races for a way out, for something they haven't thought of. But every time he thinks of something, it slips away, as if the monster itself is closing in on his thoughts. He feels his hope begin to dwindle. Just as he begins to lose himself in the chaos of the battle, a sudden movement catches his eye, a flash of metal. It's one of the engineers who has somehow managed to get close to the creature with a strange device in hand. The engineer's fingers fly across the controls as the Predator shifts its attention. The moment stretches like an eternity as the team watches with bated breath, hoping against hope that the final plan will work. In the midst of the horror, a flicker of hope sparks. The plan might still work, but only if they can act quickly, and even then the outcome remains uncertain. Jax's heart pounds in his chest as he watches the engineer struggle to activate the device. The Predator roars in fury, its massive claws swinging through the air as it tries to rip through the remaining soldiers. The device in the engineer's hands hums faintly, but its effect is yet to be seen. Jax takes a step forward, ready to do whatever it takes to protect his people, even if that means charging directly into the heart of the beast. The engineer's hands shake as he taps the final sequence of commands into the device. The low hum of energy fills the air, but it's not enough. Jax can see it in the engineer's eyes, the realization that their hope might be slipping away with every passing second. His thoughts race. There has to be something else, something they missed, something they haven't tried yet. And then in the chaos he remembers the one thing that might make a difference. A vibration runs through the ground. The very earth beneath their feet trembles with the force of the Predator's movements. Jax's mind snaps into focus, and in that moment he knows exactly what they've overlooked. It's not just the creature's strength that makes it a nightmare. It's the sound, the frequency it emits with every step, with every roar. It's been there all along, and they've been blind to it all this time. He shouts over the chaos, his voice hoarse, weapon targeting its physical body. But it's the sound waves that make it vulnerable, the vibrations, the frequencies it can't handle. He sees the realization dawn in Ava's eyes. She's quick to react and orders her team to redirect the power of the amplifier toward the ground rather than directly at the creature itself. The device that was once designed to enhance human strength is now the key to their survival. The engineer looks at Jax with wide eyes, but he doesn't hesitate. He slams his hand down on the activation button, and the device hums to life, sending a pulse of sound waves across the battlefield. The air warps around them, the frequency blasting through the atmosphere in a pulse so powerful it sends ripples across the ground. And through the walls of the colony buildings, the Predator stumbles for a split second, its head whipping back as if it's been struck with a blow of unimaginable force. Its massive body shifts unsteadily, as if it's struggling to keep its footing. For the first time in the fight, the creature shows signs of weakness. The ground continues to shake as the frequency amplifies its effect. The Predator roars in agony, but it's no longer the unstoppable force it once was. Jax watches as the creature's movements become sluggish, its enormous claws swipe through the air, wildly trying to regain its balance. The sound waves are having an effect. They're disorienting the Predator, causing its senses to go haywire. Its once precise and calculated attacks become erratic and uncoordinated. Ava quickly orders the soldiers to move, and they no longer have to worry about the creature's relentless defense. They know the time to strike is now. Jax rallies the remaining fighters around him. They take advantage of the Predator's vulnerability and begin to launch everything they have left at it, from grenades to firebombs, everything designed to take down its monstrous form. The creature stumbles back with each explosion, but it's not down yet. It's still dangerous, still deadly, and Jax knows they have only a small window before it regains its composure. The battle rages on, but for the first time since the Predator landed on Orlith, Jax feels a flicker of hope in his chest. The creature is weakening, and with every attack, every strike from the humans, the Predator's reign of terror begins to falter. But the question remains, will it be enough to finish what they started, or has the monster only just begun to fight back? The sound waves continue to ripple through the battlefield, their pulse washing over the Predator again and again with each new blast, the creature staggers, as if its very senses are being torn apart. The humans don't wait, they press their advantage. Every soldier, every engineer, every fighter on the front lines now has a singular focus. Their attacks become more precise, more relentless. As they swarm around the stunned beast, Jax watches as they launch everything they have at it: grenades, firebombs, even improvised explosives, anything to keep the pressure on the creature and stop it from recovering. The Predator thrashes in agony, its massive form lurching wildly, as if it can't comprehend what's happening to it. For the first time since its arrival, it seems vulnerable. Its movements are no longer fluid and deadly. They're desperate, panicked as it tries to right itself. But it's clear that the creature is no longer in control of the situation. The once unshakable predator is starting to falter. Jax doesn't know how long they can maintain this momentum, but for the first time since the battle began, he sees the first real crack in the monster's armor. Ava moves in swiftly, taking advantage of the creature's disorientation. She signals to the remaining soldiers to move closer to the creature's flanks. Where the armor seems thinner, they begin to plant explosives on its underbelly, working with precision despite the chaos around them. The engineers are still manning the frequency amplifier, making sure the signal doesn't weaken even as the Predator fights back with everything it has. Jax keeps his eyes fixed on the creature, never letting up his gaze. He knows this moment is critical. If they fail here, if they give the Predator even a second to recover, they'll lose everything. The Predator lets out a guttural roar that shakes the ground beneath them. Its massive head turns toward Jax and the team, its eyes glowing with a burning hatred. The creature's rage is palpable, and its claws lash out with terrifying speed, but the sound waves continue to destabilize it. The attack is wild and uncoordinated, missing most of the humans, who are still working to plant more explosives along its sides. Jax feels his pulse quicken as he watches the final charges being set. His heart races with the hope that this will be enough, that they'll finally see the end of the nightmare. Then, in a horrifying instant, the creature regains its focus. The ground cracks beneath its claws as it turns and charges directly at the humans, who are still near its underbelly. It moves faster than anything they've ever seen, and in an instant the explosion that had been carefully set off detonates. The impact rocks the entire colony, shaking everything around them. Dust and debris fly into the air, but through the cloud of smoke, Jax sees something that takes his breath away. The Predator is still standing barely, but it's still moving, its enormous form slowly recovering from the blast. Jax's stomach sinks as he realizes that the creature's resilience is beyond anything they've ever faced. But then he remembers the moment of vulnerability, when they first struck the beast with the sound waves, that single moment where the creature had stumbled, and for the first time in the battle, Jax makes a decision, one that might cost him everything. He rushes forward, his body moving on instinct, not waiting for orders. As he steps into the creature's line of sight, his mind screaming for him to stop, but his feet carry him forward anyway. He raises his hand toward the beast, its claws glinting in the smoke and dust, its eyes fixed on him, ready to end his life. In an instant, Jax's breath catches in his throat, and with one powerful motion he delivers a single slap to the creature's face. The impact is unlike anything he could have imagined. The air cracks around him, and for a moment everything falls silent. The Predator stumbles back, its enormous head jerking violently to the side, as if it's been struck by a force greater than its own immense strength. The battle around them pauses as every soldier watches in stunned silence, waiting for the aftermath to reveal what has just happened. In the wake of the slap, the entire battlefield stands still. The Predator no longer seems like the unstoppable monster it once was. It staggering, its mind reeling from the blow. And in that moment, Jax realizes they've done it. They've broken the creature's resolve. The human spirit has triumphed against a force of nature. The silence that follows is deafening as the Predator stumbles back, its massive form teetering on the edge of collapse. The slap that Jax delivered to its face seems to have shattered something deep within the creature. Its eyes no longer burn with the same murderous focus. They flicker in confusion, and for the first time since it arrived, the Predator looks vulnerable, its claws slow and unsteady as it tries to regain its balance. Its powerful limbs shake as if they no longer know their own strength. Jax stands frozen for a moment, staring at the beast as it recoils from the blow his hand, still raised from the strike. The weight of what he's just done settling in around him, his heart pounds in his chest. As the realization hits this, is it the Predator's will has been broken in one single instant, one single slap. And in that moment, Jax knows that humanity's victory isn't just about strength or technology. It's about resilience. It's about doing what no one else would dare, even when the odds are impossible to overcome. The soldiers around him begin to stir, their shock fading as they see the creature's hesitation. They've never seen anything like this before. The Predator has been brought low by a single human action, by a mere slap, and with that flicker of hope spreading through them, the humans charge forward once more, their weapons now filled with renewed purpose. The fight that had seemed hopeless moments before now has a new energy, a new fire as the tide of the battle begins to shift. HFY is the first to shout a command, and the rest of the team moves into position. Their coordinated attacks now have the edge they need. They press in on the staggering Predator, taking advantage of its disorientation, planting more explosives and firing pulse weapons at the weakened points on its body. The creature's attempts to defend itself are slow, its movements awkward, as the shock from the slap still reverberates through its nervous system. It swings its tail wildly, trying to clear the humans from its path. But its strikes are all erratic. They miss by miles as the sound waves continue to weaken it further. Jax doesn't hesitate. He orders the final offensive. They're not going to stop until the Predator is gone. They're going to finish this fight. No matter what it takes, the remaining soldiers surge forward like a tidal wave, pushing through the remaining defenses of the creature, each attack now focused and deadly as they swarm around the monster, like ants slowly chipping away at the giant. The Predator roars in rage, but the sound is hollow. It's not the roar of an invincible predator, but the desperate scream of a creature on its last legs. The fight becomes a blur as Jax and his team pour everything they have into this final push. The creature's once impenetrable hide is no longer enough to protect it from the relentless barrage of attacks. It stumbles back with each new strike, its massive form swaying dangerously as it nears the point of no return. Jax knows they're on the brink of victory, but he also knows the Predator is not done yet. It's a beast that will fight until its very last breath. In one final surge of desperation, the Predator gathers its strength for one last attempt to escape. It roars louder than ever before as it lunges at the remaining humans with a speed that belies its size. But it's too late. The last of the explosives detonates with a deafening explosion, and the creature's body crumples to the ground in a heap of smoke and blood. The sound of its final scream echoes in the distance, but the battle is over. Jax stands over the fallen creature, his chest heaving with exhaustion and relief. The once unstoppable Predator lies defeated at his feet. The humans have won, and in that moment they know they've changed the course of history forever. Humanity has defeated the galaxy's deadliest predator with nothing more than their ingenuity, their resilience, and the power of a single slap. The dust settles over the battlefield as the last echoes of the Predator's roar fade into the distance. The ground is littered with debris and the remnants of the once terrifying creature that had brought so much fear to the galaxy. Humanity stands victorious, but the cost has been high. The colony of Orlith is scared from the battle. Its streets are filled with the bodies of fallen soldiers, and the wounded are scattered across makeshift medical stations. The smell of smoke and destruction hangs thick in the air, but amidst the devastation, there's something else, a sense of triumph that no one thought possible just hours before. Captain Jax stands at the center of the battlefield, his gaze fixed on the massive form of the Predator, now lying still on the ground, his heart still racing from the adrenaline of the fight. His body aches with the weight of exhaustion, but there's no time to rest, not yet, not when so much has been lost and so much has been gained. He takes a deep breath and looks around him at the people who fought beside him, their faces filled with a mixture of disbelief and relief. They'd done the impossible. They've beaten a force of nature that no one else in the galaxy had ever been able to even approach. HFY approaches him, her face weary but determined. She looks at the fallen creature, then back at Jax. "We did it," she says, her voice quiet but filled with awe. "We really did it." Jax nods slowly, his mind still processing what has just happened. "We did more than survive." He says, "We made a stand. We showed the galaxy that we can fight back against the impossible, that we're not just prey for whatever comes along." Ava looks at him for a long moment, then nods, her eyes brimming with the same pride that he feels deep inside. The other soldiers begin to gather around, their weapons still in hand, but there's no need to fight anymore. The battle is over. The deadly predator that had threatened their way of life is no more. And as they stand together in the ruins of their once peaceful colony, they realize that this victory isn't just about survival. It's about something more, something that no one can take away from them. They've proved that humanity is not to be underestimated, that even in the face of overwhelming odds, they can rise up and fight with everything they have. Jax surveys the wreckage of the battlefield. The destruction is staggering, but so too is the resilience of his people. The survivors have begun to organize, the wounded are being cared for, and the dead are being honored. It's a testament to human strength, that even after everything they've been through, they're still standing. He turns back to the Predator's body, his mind flashing to the moment when he delivered that final slap, the single act that had broken the creature's will and turned the tide of the battle. He doesn't know why it worked, why the slap had been the thing that tipped the balance, but in that moment he had known that it was the right choice. He walks toward the remains of the Predator, his boots crunching on the ground. As he approaches the fallen beast, the air around them feels different now. There's no longer the sense of terror and dread, just a strange peace, as if the universe itself has exhaled a long-held breath. Jax crouches beside the creature's body for a moment, his hand resting on the dirt, as he reflects on the absurdity of it all, how this terrifying predator had been brought down by something as simple as a slap. But then again, that's what makes humanity so dangerous. It's not just their technology, their weapons, or their strength. It's their unpredictability, their ability to turn the impossible into something tangible, something real. Ava joins him, her voice soft. "It's over, isn't it?" Jax looks at the horizon and nods. "Yeah, it's over. But this victory, it means more than just killing the monster." He says, "It means the galaxy knows now that we're not just prey, we're a force to be reckoned with, and we're not going anywhere. Humanity's place in the galaxy has been carved in stone, and nothing will ever erase that again." And as the last remnants of the Predator's reign are buried in the dust of Orlith's streets, humanity stands tall, knowing that they've proven something fundamental to the stars, that even the deadliest predators can be defeated when faced with the sheer will of humankind.